See, let me get myself together here. What's up, everybody? We're going to get started with another episode of Student Access 101. I am Dr. Tameka Ellington. I'm your host. For those of you that don't know me, I am an educator, I'm a researcher, a scholar. I am a lover of everything that has to do with educational growth and prosperity for our underrepresented students. And you are on Student Access 101. Student Access 101 is a podcast that discusses critical topics in the pursuit of equitable education for those individuals who are underrepresented. And so my guest today is someone that I've had the pleasure of meeting many years ago. We were both freshmen together at Kent State University. And so we've known each other since 1995. I'm telling my age now. But Phil and I have been friends for a long time. He is a fellow Golden Flasher, and we just reunited again from not seeing each other for many, many years. And because I started going to SPAN Ministries, and he also attends SPAN Ministries. And so I got a chance to see him and other alum, such as Pastor Glass. Hey, Pastor Glass. Such as Pastor Glass and the other elders, Kenan and Karan, who are also there at SPAN. So it's almost kind of like even though I've only been going to SPAN for like maybe a few months, it already feels like I belong there. I'm at home because I've been friends with these people for so long. And Phil is one of those individuals. So I'm going to introduce you all to my friend, Philip Robinson, and I'll be bringing him right in. All right. Let me unmute you. All right. What's up, Phil?
Not a whole lot. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Yeah. Nice to see you again.
1995, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, the time just goes by so quick.
Yeah, who knew? This whole growing up thing was gonna lead us here. So
absolutely. So I'm gonna read your bio so that everybody can know about the work that you've been doing. So Philip Robinson has been a part of the Northeast Ohio community for over 25 years. A proud husband of 16 years, father of 5 wonderful children, and a graduate of Kent State University. Mr. Robinson is dedicated to improving the lives of those around him and in empowering the marginalized and underserved members of society. And that's why you are here, my brother.
All right.
Whether as an elder at the Shepherd's Pasture for All Nations Church in Talmadge, a member chair of the Akron Urban League Guild, or financial advisor with Edward Jones, Mr. Robinson believes that empowerment begins with impact and intimate relationships, as well as a deep understanding of the goals, challenges, and circumstances that affect our daily lives. As a professional, Mr. Robinson has developed his business and financial acumen. And I had to look that word up. Because I'm like, what is this word? Okay, the word is acumen, ACUMEN. Basically, that means that if you have financial acumen, that means that you have good judgment and that you are smart with your money. So
that's right.
Yes. So he's been doing this now for over 20 years in the corporate setting, as well as in a role as a financial education facilitator at church. After obtaining his Bachelor of Science degree at Kent State, Mr. Robinson embarked on a long and rewarding career in the pharmaceutical sales industry. It also and was also during this time that Mr. Robinson took the role of senior financial advisor for Span Ministries, where he taught financial literacy classes for members of the community. In 2019, after careful deliberation and prayer, Mr. Robinson made the difficult decision to leave the comfort of the pharmaceutical industry and become a financial advisor. Now he works with individuals, families, as well as small and mid-sized businesses, helping them achieve their financial goals. And, I welcome my friend, Philip Robinson. And,
Thank you.
When I read that part of your bio, it just kind of sang to my heart because that was around the time when I started deciding whether or not I was going to leave the university.
Right, right. I read your bio as well. I was like, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
it's tough decisions.
it is a tough decision,
Um,
but how do you feel about that decision? Now, I know for sure
mhm,
I get asked all the time, like, do you miss, working at the university? Do you miss being here? And you know what? I miss my students, but I
mhm.
don't miss the fact that I get to live in my purpose.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
for me, it's understanding that we all go through various seasons in life, and
absolutely.
for me and my family, where we were at the time, the pharmaceutical industry was perfect.
Mm,
It allowed my wife to stay at home as we were growing our family and everything like that. And shoot, it's a good industry, good money, good perks, good all
yeah,
that fun stuff.
yeah.
You know, but at there was a point where it became a hollow experience.
Mm,
And I'm sure we'll get into this a little further in this podcast, but the sense of purpose, as you mentioned, and the fulfillment slowly was being seeped out, I guess, if
yeah,
you will. And so
yeah.
I made that decision. So,
Yeah, it's a hard one to make. And so that we can know a little bit more about you, can you tell us about who you are, where you grew up, and
hmm
what was that like?
yeah, so I am a Southern military brat. All right,
Okay.
so I spent a very good majority of my childhood in the South. So Florida, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, South Carolina. I lived them all. I was
Okay.
all even I spent some time over in Germany. My dad was 20 years in the Air Force.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I'm a good old Southern boy. And
Okay.
in high school, I moved up to Athens, Ohio. So if you know anything about Athens,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, talk about a culture shock.
Oh
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I graduated high school there. I lived 5 minutes from Ohio University. So
Okay.
got love for the Bobcats out there, even though they're not quite Golden Flashes. They're the next best
Yes.
thing. Um, so then came up here to Kent State. So I'm the oldest of four kids,
Okay.
and like I said, my dad was 20 years Air Force, so we moved around a bit, and so I got to see a lot of the world and a lot of the way a lot of people live and think and everything like that. Is one of the experiences that I cherish. But I like I said, went to school, graduated college, joined Span, got married,
Yeah.
and now I am an Ohioan. I'm not a
Wow.
Buckeye, not a Buckeye, an Ohioan.
Yes. Yes. Okay. There's a distinct difference. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, don't call me
Yeah.
no Buckeye.
Growing up, did you receive guidance about finances from your parents or guidance? So today's topic is all about financial literacy.
Right.
And so I wanted to know, like, as a child, were
hmm
you guided along this whole, avenue of learning about finances?
Yeah, believe it or not, no. I wasn't. So, when I look back, with grown up eyes, and I kind of understand a little bit more about my parents and their background and where they came from. They came from two very different places.
Okay.
So my dad was the middle child, smack dab in the middle of 13 kids.
Oh my
Grew up in,
gosh.
yeah, grew up very poor. Grew up in Maryland. His dad worked at a factory. He lost his mom very early, so money was very scarce. They were dirt poor, and as a matter of fact, something I didn't realize until I was older is that my dad at one point in his life was homeless.
Oh, wow.
So so money to him, he once he got it, he held on to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And really didn't. They were just trying to survive versus just knowing what to do with money, right?
Yeah.
My mom, on the other hand, was the oldest of two children. Granddad was in the military as well. As a matter of fact, my granddad knew my dad before my dad knew my mom.
Okay.
Um, anyway, um, and my mom didn't have a care in the world. She God bless her soul, she thought money was just there, and
Yeah.
so I don't need to worry about it. As long as it's there, I can buy whatever I want. So, as you can imagine, when you have those two backgrounds coming together,
Yeah.
money in our house was a source of a lot of arguments. I'll put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a stressor. It was a
Yeah.
stressor. So anytime my mom never talked about money because it's just supposed to always be there, right? My dad, anytime he talked about finances, it was more complaining,
Mm.
and understanding why he says no all the time and
Yeah.
this that, and the other. So my background as it relates to understanding money did not come from home. They did the best that they could with what they had. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. So I believe my experience is very similar to, quite honestly, a lot of people's.
Yeah.
In that it was one of those things where, hey, I hope you can make it. This is how we deal with it. We're just trying to survive here
Right.
and go forward from there. So.
Yeah. And that's, I think when you grow up in situations where people in your family didn't have money, um,
Hmm.
the idea, the poverty mindset that we're
Right.
like, that we grow up in does not allow us to see money beyond just paying our bills.
Sure.
It doesn't
Absolutely.
allow us to see money as a way for, family legacy. We're like, as adults, we're just now learning this thing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where are we? Where are
Right.
we? We are, mid 40s, right? I'm
Yeah.
45,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where, man, I wish I would have known. We always say it, right? If I would
Yeah.
have known
Yeah.
then what I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
where would I be?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why, this podcast in particular is so impactful because hopefully the young people are looking at this. Hey, old
Right.
people, I don't. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And hopefully they'll take what we say to heart and
Yeah.
start doing some things to affect their future.
Absolutely. Wow. So we are all led by experiences in our lives to make the career choices that we make. And so, what inspired you to leave pharmaceutical sales and then go into financial advising?
Yeah, so I've always had a heart to help people. Is that's since the day I was blessed to be on this earth.
Yeah.
And the problem with it is that I was always led to believe that, well, if you're going to help people, you're not going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that didn't fit well with me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was going to be a doctor,
Yeah.
right? I can do both. I can help folk and make some money at the same time. Um, I didn't realize that I didn't have the study skills to become a doctor. That was pointed out to me very early in my time at Kent State. Um, I at the end of the day, I had to find a job. So I did.
Yeah.
I worked at Enterprise, run a car for 5 years, and then went on to the pharmaceutical industry. Like I said, it was a great industry, but the Hollywood experience came from realizing that, though this is doing what I needed to do in this season that we're in, my family is in, I am not helping anyone. At the end of the
Mm,
day, I'm talking to
mm,
doctors about things they already know,
yeah.
um, asking them to write my product when, and know it's dictated by the insurance companies, right? So,
Yeah.
so, um, for me, my what ended up happening is Kellen and I, my wife and I, we got connected with a financial advisor with Edward Jones, and my advisor was great. He got to know me, got to understand me. Along the way at Span Ministries, Pastor Glass was my roommate in college,
Yeah.
and when he decided to open up the church, I'm like, all right, cool, cool. He asked me to help with praise and worship. Okay, cool, whatever, and okay. And along the way, he recognized something in me that I had an acumen or the ability, acumen, for for understanding how things work, how
Yeah.
finances work. And so he asked me to kind of oversee the finances of the church until someone more qualified came on board, and someone did. So then my role kind of shifted to a little bit more education,
Yeah.
recognizing that yeah, folk need to know what I know
Yeah.
about money and how to handle
Yeah.
it. So I taught
Yeah.
a number of financial literacy courses. So fast forwarded to my advisor, he got to understand that wow, he already has a background in doing this, and he was been doing it for free. All right,
Yeah.
great, and telling people, showing people how to manage your money.
Yeah.
So as I was becoming more and more disenfranchised with pharmaceutical sales, and ultimately was laid off, he said, "You know what? With your background, you will be perfect in actually officially advising folks." You still there? Okay.
Yeah.
Advising folks, and so I came on board a couple of years later. So.
Wow. It's something how our when our heart speaks to us about, what we should be doing,
Mhm.
how either we make the decision to move or either God makes the decision for us to move, right?
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
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 The interesting part about it is this wasn't the first time I was approached about this
Mm,
subject.
yeah.
And of course, I was like, man, why would I leave pharmaceutical sales?
Yeah.
Man, when
Yeah.
I say I'm a pharma rep, folk pay attention, right? They're like, ooh,
Right. Yeah.
and I got a little, addicted to that, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, God said, no, this is all of the things that you have been a part of is to prepare you for this,
Wow.
your
Wow.
actual calling. So,
Mm, 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 mm. Wow. The Department of Education has set
mhm,
out a mandate for all high schools to cover teaching half credit of financial literacy. And I say bravo because it's about doggone time that now we are required, our kids are
mhm,
required to learn this before they graduate. But
mhm,
I question, why is it just a half a credit? It seems to me like that's a little bit of a small amount for the fact that
mhm.
money and financial literacy is so important to the health of our society. So, what are your thoughts about this? And what are some topics that are critical for high school teachers to focus on since they only have a half a credit?
Yeah. So when I first saw that, I took that same approach, like, well, only half a credit, but I'm gonna take the positives out of this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's it's a start.
yeah, yeah,
It's a start. Now, hopefully, this isn't the only step that is taken in this particular area, but it is a start. So I'll
yeah,
take it,
yeah.
right? I do applaud them for this, and at the risk of upsetting some educators that are out there, okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are certain classes and whatnot that we take that is meant to develop a well-rounded student, right?
Absolutely.
Whether it's a language, foreign language, or shop class in high school, all of those things, music, so forth and so on. And yes, we absolutely need all of those things.
Yeah.
But for a very good portion of us, the last time we say we or see or whatever in our foreign language class requirement, that's the last time we'll say that ever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or
Unless we move to a
I
place, unless we move, to a place where we
right,
get to use
right.
the language. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I remember for myself, a freshman year in high school, taking shop class, using a miter saw. I ain't used one since. So these skills are necessary. Don't get me wrong, but when I left high school and went to college and was asked to, handle money, for the first time, um, I had no idea. First thing, I had no idea what a credit card was, right?
Mm.
All I know is I get a free T-shirt if I sign up for this mug.
Wow. And you know
And
what? I remember that. That's how they would get us,
oh
right?
yeah, no doubt. Now, thankfully, someone, I think it was the government, but somebody stepped in and was like, no, I don't think they're allowed to do that anymore. But uh, you know, leaving home with the life skill of knowing, first of all, what money is, how it works, how credit works, all of these things would have been more beneficial for me than learning how to use a miter saw
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So again, I applaud the Ohio Department of Education for taking this step.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of the skills and what some of the topics that are covered is, just understanding how to budget.
Yeah.
That is one of the baseline skills that we need to be teaching our young people. What's the concept of margins? What does that mean?
Mm.
How do I know what my outflow is versus my inflow?
Yeah.
And everything like that, and making decisions based on that. What does credit mean? You
Mm.
know, you know,
Yeah.
it is a numeric, it is a quantifiable measure of your credibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all have that friend, that cousin, that family member who is always asking to hold a dollar or hold $10 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And getting well, if you give them that money, you're gonna kiss that money goodbye, right? You're not gonna get it
Absolutely.
back.
Yep.
Their credibility is rather low.
Yeah.
So if I give them this money, I know I'm not gonna get it back.
Yeah.
That's how credit works. When they're looking at you,
Wow. Wow.
right?
I
So
did. That's
uh,
deep.
well,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, and so understanding that, I really do hope in these mandates that have been passed out that they touch on understanding the basic principles, financial principles that are out there, so that the saying is experience is the best teacher,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be your own.
Right.
For you and I can only speak for myself. You may be included in this. It was a trial and error. Once I got out in the world, right?
Yeah.
If we can empower people to be able to have the tools necessary to make informed decisions, then I think it can only help.
Oh yeah. That's half the battle right there. Is making
Yeah, yeah.
informed decisions. Absolutely. Yeah.
So so
What about
yeah.
investing? Do you think that this is investing is something that should definitely be spoken about?
Just on a very high level, macro level, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
understanding what's the difference between a stock and a bond,
Right.
right? And so basic things like that, so they know that. Well, and even beyond that, wh- it, what is a retirement account?
Oh
So if
yeah.
you
Yeah.
were like me,
Yeah.
my first job was at 16, right?
Yeah.
And I remember having a conversation with someone, I can't remember who it was, about a 401k. Now
Right.
I wasn't full time, so I did, but I do know once I graduated college and I started working at Enterprise Rent a Car, what I was told about a 401k was just contribute to it to the match and don't worry about it.
Right.
I knew
Right.
nothing about the rules
Right. Right.
surrounding a
Yeah.
retirement account. So
Yeah.
when I left and I got a statement, I got how much money in this account?
Wow. Yeah.
Word?
Yeah. Yeah.
I I just hit the lottery.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. You know what I mean? So just knowing the basics of, okay, what is a retirement account? Because we're
Yeah.
all looking to work. All right, let's get some money working for us. So
Yeah. Wow. Those are some good points. And so you said, what's a retirement account? Um, what does credit mean? And then you
mhm.
also said how to budget. Those are some key topics.
Well, and one
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Um, Compound interest.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
glory
So I
to
think
God.
so.
Glory be.
So Einstein, they attribute this quote to Einstein. There's still some debate as to whether he actually said it, but he once said, allegedly, that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. All right. This is a concept
Wow.
that everyone else out there understands. Certainly the businesses, the banks, the lending institutions, they know this concept. And because we don't have a good understanding of it, we pay it,
Wow.
right? Instead of earn it.
You know, I'm just going to be transparent with you right now. I didn't learn about compound interest until sometime last year when I got my
Hmm.
first investment account
Hmm.
outside of 401k.
Right.
That's when I started learning about compound interest. I had no idea that money could grow that fast.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And the whole concept is just letting your money work for you. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the things that, I constantly have conversations with folk is we work very hard to, we give our time, energy, our expertise, everything like that to have the ability to earn money, right?
Yeah.
And there's this great, yes, earn your money. But if the analogy that I use is track. I don't know if you ever ran track, but for all my track folk out there, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You never PR running into a headwind, right? You never set a personal record running against the wind. But when you got that tailwind behind
Mm,
you,
mm.
hmm, you can do some things.
Wow.
So by getting your money to work for you, having it invested properly in interest bearing accounts and things of that nature, utilizing the power of compound interest, that's a heck of a tailwind you got.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Wow. Wow. What do our students need to know right now to set themselves up for success? Or
mhm.
what would you recommend? Or what's just one little tip that you can give to students so that they won't get caught in a trap like we did? You know?
Sure. I'll give you two. Number one, start early.
Ah,
Um, One of the biggest tailwinds that you can utilize is the power of time,
yeah.
right? So for our soon to be graduates and graduates, especially in college and whatnot, you are embarking on a career that's going to last, in a lot of cases, over half your life,
Wow. Yeah.
right? And if you just start. That is the biggest hurdle that most of us have, even if it's
Yeah.
25, $50 a month. Just start,
Yeah.
right? Um, and the second thing I would say is, and I got this. I listened to one of your podcasts from a few months ago, and you all really hammered this point home, and it's really was a salient point. Mentorship,
Oh, yeah.
discipleship, getting under somebody who is a
Yeah.
little bit ahead of you, who's been through some of these things that you're about to go through, who understands, who says the same thing that we just said. If I would have known then what I know now, get under someone, let them pour into you, let them help you understand whatever it is you want to understand about investing,
Yeah.
for instance, or how to manage money and how to make this decision. Should I save money for a down payment on a house, or should I, you know over invest, if you will, into a 401k? what are some of the trappings that you ran into that I want to avoid?
Wow.
Um, Rely on your community. As we've kind of progressed more towards individualism, I think the mentorship and discipleship aspect of life is really being lost. And so, get under someone, start early, and that will be a very good start to whatever it is you
Wow. That's wonderful advice. Wonderful. Can you give a word of encouragement to listening teachers or school staff that want to set their students up for success?
do. Okay. First of all, thank you. Thank you so much because I know I was a hard headed little nothing um, in school. I can only imagine what you guys have to deal with. But understand this: school, you as an educator, you are so vital to really establishing a solid foundation for the generations to come, right? The unfortunate reality is, if you're an educator and you were dealing with someone like me in school who didn't have that financial foundation at home,
Yeah.
right? Um, you may be the only thing between me and making some boneheaded decisions,
Wow. Wow.
right?
Wow. Yeah.
Now, the ideal situation is what kids are learning in school is being modeled at home.
Yeah.
Okay, that is how you learn,
Yeah.
right? Um, and that's how you apply all the things that you learn in school, right? So understand, and I get it. Everything we do can become repetitive. Everything that we do can, become mundane at times. But understand that from this standpoint, from a financial standpoint, you are in a position to really either reinforce an already existing foundation or start one. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Teachers, I just did a professional development workshop a few weeks ago for Akron Public Schools, and I got a
mhm,
chance to talk to the teachers in the uh, college and career academies for
okay.
Akron Public Schools. And that's one of the things that I told them, they have more control than they think they do, and
Hmm.
they have more influence than they think they do, because the things,
Absolutely.
because they have our kids all day long, and everything that they say has some type of residual effect on our kids, and
Sure.
so what you just said about, them being the pathway or the bridge, to making some good financial decisions is absolutely
Hmm.
correct. So is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to mention?
Yeah. Like I said, and this is whether you're young, whether you're old, it doesn't matter. Um, Start.
Yeah.
Understand, you know, from a cultural standpoint, we did not build
Yeah.
this system that
Yeah.
is in place. And we understand that this system was not designed for us.
Yeah.
We understand that. We also understand that there have been some hurdles that have been placed in our way
Yeah.
that have kept us down. We understand that we will fight against those things,
Right.
right? However, the part that we can control, we have to control. We're in the age of information. So all of this information is out there. Let's talk to someone. Let's actually actively search for that information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because, like I said, it's not just about us. It's about a legacy. You mentioned that word earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we're not living for something bigger than ourselves, at least live for a legacy for our kids to get
Absolutely.
them off to a better start than ours.
Oh, yeah.
So the more you love, the more you learn, the more you know, the more you're able to pass on, it will just benefit your legacy for generations to come. So,
Yeah. You know what? Something just came to mind as you were
mhm,
speaking. What are your thoughts about what's been going on with President Biden and the commitment to reducing college debt for people, like for students, prior students? What do you think
Hmm.
about that? Because I mean, people have been going back and forth and all this stuff about it. And what's your thoughts on it?
Again, these are my thoughts. These do not
Yes.
reflect the thoughts of anyone else beyond me. Um, you know, look, I have a 25-year-old. I'm still paying for student loans.
Yep.
Help, please.
Yep.
Look, my my opinion. I have a very negative opinion of the financing of the educational system.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The college tuition is growing faster than pretty much any other sector in our
Yeah.
economy. So, yeah, we need some help. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it, and it's $10,000. Really, it's kind of a drop in the bucket.
Right.
And I know there's been this mantra out there that it's not fair. And okay,
Not fair to
what
who?
is
Like not
right?
fair to
Yeah,
who, you know?
um, what is fair? And it's. I heard someone say that it's like someone just developed a cure for cancer, but the people who passed away, they're upset because it's not fair that the people who passed away wasn't able to take advantage of this cure. I mean, just all right. Thank you. Say thank you. Yes, there are many different other issues to get hot and bothered over.
Right. Yeah.
This one to
Right.
me ain't one of them.
And see, the thing I think honestly, what bothers me the most about it is the people that are barking are the people that have money. You know, they're the ones that are barking about it, right? The people who
Yeah.
need the help, they're like, thank the Lord, you know?
So yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna jump on my soapbox. I promise I won't. But when you look at equity,
Yeah.
okay, it's the process of bringing things to equality. You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, I'm sorry. There are certain people groups that need a little help to get where you were. You
Mm,
are. You know what I mean? And so it's almost as if there is such a protection over my status and my group and my elitism that if you're approaching it and you're getting help, that's not fair. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is really indicative of how selfish we have become.
Yeah.
I mean, look, hey, I'm here and you got here too, and someone helped you. Hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
Let's have fun together
Yeah.
versus the crab mentality. Whoa, whoa, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
miss me with all that. That's
I,
just
I know it.
ridiculous.
I know it. I know it. Oh my goodness. Well, my brother, our time has come to an end, and I just want to thank you so much for joining me this evening to talk about such a critical topic, especially
Yeah,
for our underserved students. And they need to hear this, and I'm praying that this gets a lot of views so that those young people will begin to take some steps so that they can be in a better situation than we were.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah,
The information's out there. Just find it. The people are out there to help. You
absolutely.
know.
Well, how can people get in touch with you? If someone might want to work with you, how can they get in
Mhm.
touch with you?
Sure. More than welcome to email me at Philip with one L dot Robinson at edwardjones.com. You can call me. My office number is 330-335-5555. Yeah, and I'm around. I'm on social media. I'm around. So
Yeah.
again, it's really about just having the conversation. Look, outsource some of the information out there. You don't have to know everything. Just
Mm,
outsource it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And you know, just take advantage of the people who are willing to help and not try to take advantage of
Wow. Wow. That's some great advice. Thank you so much,
you.
Philip. It was good to see
Yeah,
you. Yes. Have a good
likewise. You do the same. Thank you so much, Dr. Tameka Ellington.
night. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I would have become a doctor? Like, who would have thought? I know I wouldn't have thought.
I ain't gonna say nothing, but nah. Stop playing.
Yeah, I mean, I and it's we were just talking about how when our spirit hits us and we have a change. I mean,
Hmm.
my change began because you were saying something about feeling empty, like you weren't contributing
Hmm.
anything, right, while you were in
Hmm.
pharmaceutical sales. And that's exactly how I felt when I was
Hmm.
working as a fashion designer in the industry.
No. Okay. All
When I
right.
was working as a fashion designer, I was like, I'm making this product, but I'm not helping anybody.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not helping
Right.
anybody. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is, and at some point, you have to ask yourself a question: why am I here? You know, and it's not just to make money. It's not just to have kids. It's not just to get married. But I mean, at some point, you got to leave your mark.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a waste when God has all of this ready for you, right?
Yeah.
And He's equipped you to be able to do this, that, and the other, and you settle for less.
Ooh.
You know,
Mm.
man, I can't imagine having that conversation with God. I had all of this, man, and you settled for this. So,
Wow.
uh,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Something for y'all to think about. For those of you that are not out here living your best life and living up to the potential that the Lord God has brought you to, the
yeah,
talents, the skills, that's exactly it. How can you explain that?
right.
Once is your time. How can you explain that? Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yes. Well, this was wonderful. Thank you so much, Philip.
thank you so much,
Have a
Tameka.
good one.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Well, this is the time during the episode that I will talk a little bit more about the research that went into preparing for this particular episode. As a researcher and educator, I truly believe that it's important for me to back up everything that I talk about with a little bit of research. And so I'm going to put on the banner here so that you can see the resource where I got this information from. So if you want more information about what I'm going to be talking about in just a few minutes, there is the information there. So Champlain College's Center for Financial Literacy, they have an article that they published called The Case for High School Financial Literacy, Why High Schools. They gave 11 points as to the rationale behind the importance of adding financial literacy to the curriculum. And so I'm just going to mention 5 of those things that are relevant to what we were talking about today. So, number one, the number of financial decisions an individual must make continues to increase. The variety and complexity of financial products continues to grow. So, because things are getting much more, complicated, we need to educate our students. We need to educate ourselves as adults. We need to be educated. Kids are not learning about personal finance at home. And that's something that Phil just mentioned, the fact that he didn't learn anything about money at home. I didn't learn anything about money at home. I just learned about like how to try to scrape and save it so that you can get to the end of the month. That's what I learned. And so kids are not learning about personal finance at home. Number 3, on an international financial literacy test of 15-year-olds, the United States ranked 7 out of 15 countries. So that just goes to show that in many ways we believe that we are number one, the most powerful country in the world. And hey, stats often tells us that that is not the case. Many students attend college without understanding financial aid, loans, debt, and credit. And that's something else that Philip just talked about, was the fact that he didn't even know what a credit card was. And it's important that our students have that knowledge before they start on their adult journey. And so I know I wish I would have known, because I would have made so many more um, better decisions than what I made growing up. And so the fifth one that I'm going to bring up is credit scores are a difficult concept for many young adults to understand. Credit scores are difficult for adults to understand. And so this is something That is another rationale for why high schools really need to push and be really strategic about how they go about this curriculum. Like I said, zero point 0.5 credits is not a lot. They're not going to be able to cover a whole lot in that, but the best that they can do was those critical points. Philip mentioned some critical points. This article here has some really critical points that teachers can take heed to. So teachers, as you are developing your curriculum for your financial literacy classes that you're going to be teaching, check out this article because it will definitely give you some great pointers. And so this particular episode of Student Access 101 is brought to you by your superpower workbook, which I'm so excited about. This is my brand new book. It's available now on Amazon. I'm so excited about it because I started this book 2 years ago and it's set on the shelf because God placed on my heart that I needed to publish Be the GOAT Career Readiness Manual first. And you guys know that I've talked to you about Be the GOAT. It's been selling great. I actually am making a course for it right now. But this book, Superpower Workbook, sat on the shelf for so long. And so I'm finally able to bring it to the public. It's available on Amazon. And I just want to empower people. That's why I'm here. Empowering people is what I love to do. And also, if you loved my first book, Make Fear Your Superpower, you will love this companion. So this particular book goes into some nitty gritty details that Make Fear Your Superpower goes into. I want our readers to not only read, but I want you to take it in and I want you to make a change in your life. That's the whole goal. And so as we end this podcast, I just want to say thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it, leave a comment on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, share it with those in your circle who will benefit, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And together we can do this. Together we can make the change of the trajectory of equitable education for underrepresented students. And always remember, let's empower and educate because there's no success without student access. Peace and blessings.